right, welcome to the podcast. This is Chuckloaf here, the 1200 Films podcast, on my quest, my journey, my excursion to watch 1200 films in one calendar year and review all of them right here on YouTube. We're going to review the 49th through 72nd film that were watched from January 16th through the 19th. Yes, I watched all these films in 4 days. You can tell someone's on vacation with nothing better to do. All right, let's get going. Number 49, The Meyerowitz Stories, new and selected. I don't know what is new or selected about this movie. It's nothing special. Dustin Hoffman plays the father. Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller. They're kind of a disjointed family, and they're trying to get back together. Then the dad gets sick, and then the brothers get in a tiffy. And there's no real story to this. It's just a series of events, and then it's over. Yeah. Very blah. Number 50, The Trigger Effect. This was a nice little 90s movie with Kyle MacLachlan, Elizabeth Shue. There's a widespread blackout, and Kyle MacLachlan has to get medicine for his baby and protect his home from vandals before he eventually takes to the road. And then this plot's been used 1,000 times, but it's well done in this movie. It's a nice little thriller. Can't find much wrong with it. Number 51, Waffle Street, based on a true story. Not all true stories need to be made into films, and this is one of them. It's about this big Wall Street guy loses his job, so he decides to work at a Waffle House. Not because he wants, not because he has to, but because he wants to, and he thinks he's gonna learn something from his experience, and he ends up becoming a financial advisor, and that's the whole film, and that's why you don't need to watch it. I just blew it for you. Yeah, don't watch Waffle Street. The Finest Hours, another Chris Pine movie. He's popping them out left and right, up and down, center, backwards, forwards. He's popping them out all over. The Finest Hours is a very standard feel-good film about the Coast Guard that saves the guys on this shit carrier ship that broke in half, and Casey Affleck was the de facto captain of the ship, and Chris Pine and his crew have to go save him, and I'm surprised Mark Wahlberg didn't star in this movie. Usually he stars in these cheesy, feel-good films, but if there's nothing else on, it's fine. Hands of Stone. The true story of Roberto Duran. I'll admit I didn't know a whole lot of Roberto Duran. He was kind of before my time. But this is one of the better boxing films I've seen in a long, long time. What else to say? Duran was kind of made out to be a douchebag in this movie, so he's kind of unlikable, but it's still an interesting subject nonetheless. And there's a scene where he's making out with his soon-to-be wife, but it looks like a 35-year-old actor making out with a 16-year-old girl and is a little uncomfortable. That's the things I notice about these movies, but still, overall, a very good movie. Hands of Stone. Number 54, Annabelle Creation. I can't find anything wrong with this one. This was an excellent little horror film. Boy, woo! They don't mind killing little kids. That means the gloves are off when they're killing little tiny kids. Make sure you stay tuned through the credits. There's an extra little scene at the end. It's not a very important scene, but it's there. Number 55, Goat. I had low expectations for Goat, primarily because it starred Nick Jonas of the Jonas Brothers. I think it's Nick Jonas, the one with diabetes. Anyway, I figured it was just a hazing movie about a college frat or something like that. It's like, I've seen Neighbors. I don't need to see this again. But this was a very serious drama. The first 5 minutes, this guy gets carjacked and beat up bad. He gets the bejeebers beat out of him. And then he tries to join this college frat, and they're hazing him, and he's still having all these flashbacks. of when he was beat up in the carjacking, and then his roommate dies suddenly, and it takes some strange turns, but it's surprisingly decent drama. Number 56, Girlfriend. I didn't know what I was getting into with this one. It's about a young man with Down syndrome. Him and his mother are working just to make ends meet at some small diner, and then his mom dies in the beginning, and he's on his own, and he gets a little bit of money from his mother's passing, and he wants a girlfriend, so he thinks the best way to get a girlfriend is to start giving the prettiest girl in town a bunch of money. So you kind of figure where that goes. But it's worth a viewing. It's a really good movie. Number 57, Snow Angels. Sam Rockwell, who's always good. It starts as a nice little fun film about a split family, but then it takes a big turn. It takes a big turn into super seriousness. But it's still enjoyable. Another thing about Snow Angels, I'll tell you now, it's about a missing person, basically. And that's been done so many times. The Captive and Taken and all these movies are about kidnapped people and somebody got to go find them. So, of course, what's the next movie I watch? Number 58, The Missing Person. Apparently, I enjoy miserating myself. Stars Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon in his 4th appearance on the countdown. He stars as a drunk private detective paid to tail a guy traveling around with a young Mexican kid. He's not told a whole lot, but he just has to do it because they're paying him pretty well. It turns out the guy faked his death in the 9/11 attacks and his wife wants him back. Then the whole reason why he has a little kid with him was a totally separate story. But the Serpico obsessed cab driver kind of steals the show. He's really funny, but it's still a nice little sleepy drama. I enjoyed it. Number 59, Phoenix Forgotten, produced by Ridley Scott. That's kind of important. It's kind of based around the actual Phoenix Lights, which happened in the late 90s, I believe, and this kind of picks up from that. It's a found footage / fake documentary. Best way to describe this. Sci-fi horror, I guess. But yeah, these 3 kids go out looking for evidence of the Phoenix Lights and what was going on during that time, and they kind of get lost in the middle of nowhere in those Rocky Mountains. And the last 10 minutes of this film is crazy insane. Number 60, Refuge. Nice little indie drama. Young woman trying to raise her younger sister and her challenged younger brother. Her brother had a brain tumor removed, so he's a little off. But then she rents the couch out to this guy she had a one-night hookup with, and he kind of works his way into the family. Turns out to be a cute little movie. I can't find a whole lot wrong with it. Number 61, The Hawk is Dying. Paul Giamatti in a rare, not great film. Paul Giamatti is a father of a challenged son, and he spends his time raising and training hawks, and the hawks keep dying because he doesn't know what he's doing. So, of course, he captures another hawk and thinks he's going to get it right this time, but then a family tragedy happens while this happens, so he becomes more determined to train the hawk. Yeah, it's not much. I'd skip it. Number 62, Psycho Beach Party. Don't ask me why. Why? Sometimes you just gotta watch what's next in line there, and sometimes you get a gym, and sometimes you get Psycho Beach Party. The redheaded girl from the old show 6 Feet Under stars. I think it takes place in the 50s or 60s. And she has multiple personality disorder, and she's not other people. She's like, it's a mess. She takes I give up. It was an awful film. She's trying to learn how to surf, and It got the guy from another TV. I can't remember, but yeah, it's a mess. I apologize. What a horrible review. Number 63, Crazy Eyes, starred Lucas Haas, as you may remember from The Lady in White and the crippled kid from Leap of Faith. He's the star of this film. I don't know if he was kind of playing himself almost, but he played a rich guy who had all these girlfriends, and each night he's trying to meet up with a different one, and he kind of falls for one eventually. And she's kind of weird, but he likes her, and yeah, it goes from there. It wasn't very memorable. Number 64, No Good Deed. This was a fun little thriller. I enjoyed this film. This escaped killer convict gets his way out of prison, and he has a car accident. And he goes to the nearest house that has its lights on, and charms his way in. And, kidnaps, tries to take over the situation. And this woman who was there by herself with her young children has to defend this guy off. But it got right what Split got wrong. That's what I'll say about this one. Number 65, The Remaining. I guess you would describe this movie as a faith and spiritual film. There was a lot of talking about God and forgiveness, and what happens is the rapture happens, and all the good people immediately die peacefully and go to heaven, and then all the evil sinners are left to fend off the demons. And the people in this movie, when they finally do accept God in their heart, they get murdered violently by the demons. Yeah, that's their reward. Number 66, Obvious Child. This female comedian who just broke up with her boyfriend. Well, he broke up with her, but and she has a rebound with this kind of dorky guy, and she ends up getting pregnant. But she wants to have an abortion, but then she befriends the guy she had the one night hookup with, and it goes from there. It's not horrible, but not great. Number 67. Here we go. This is not as bad as Colossal, but this movie has La La Land. Yeah, number 67. What is this? I don't understand. Not every semi-successful stage play deserves to be made into a movie. This is the proof. And who does Ryan Gosling think he is in this? Fred Astaire? Fred Astaire died 40 years ago, dude. And so did his style of films, and they should stay dead. But no, he tries to resurrect it in this movie. I'll admit the second half wasn't horrible, but gosh, Gosling's character was such a douche. Such a D-bag. In the beginning, anyway. Then, he kind of, But gosh, it was hard to... Number 68, Invasion on Chestnut Ridge. This is a Seth Breedlove documentary about the Chestnut Ridge, which is a area over in Pennsylvania and down through West Virginia and in there. And they have a lot of UFO sightings, and that's mostly what it's about. There's also a little bit of Bigfoot. Seth Breedlove usually does Bigfoot films, but this is a slight detour to mostly UFOs. I learned some interesting things, and it's kind of fascinating, but it's overall not bad. Number 69, The Vault with James Franco. Oh, there's a bank, and then there's a vault in the basement, but no one goes to the vault because however many years ago there was a break-in, and then the guy, the robbery, and the guy killed all the people that were working in the bank by burning them alive in the vault in the basement. So the basement is now haunted with the souls of the people that were murdered. So you don't want to go down there. So James Franco helps out the bank robbers in the present day and tells them, if you want the money, you got to go down in the vault. Well, bad things happen to the people down in the vault. Number 70, Southside with You. The story of when Michelle I can't remember her maiden name. Michelle Obama met Barack Obama. Boy, Michelle was a little sassy. If the portrayal was accurate, jeez. Barack had to put up with a lot to get through to that. This movie is also very educational, which I thought was interesting. When they're going through the little art gallery, you learned a lot. But then yeah, they had quite an interesting first date. Good grief. Well, it wasn't really a date. It was just, yeah, people hanging out, I guess. And it's now described as a date. But yeah, overall, it was okay. It's another movie you want to watch with grandma. Not a movie you want to watch with your younger friends. Number 71, The Open House, Netflix original movie. The dad, you got a dad and a mom and this teenage son who wants to be an Olympic runner. And the dad dies in a horrible accident right in front of the son. So the family relative says, hey, get out of here. You can move into my house that's up for sale. It's a nice space, like a mansion. So she convinces the mom and the son to go out to the mansion. And every Sunday there's an open house. So they have to leave, and people are going through their house, and they don't really care for that, but what can you do? And then eventually weird things start happening, and things start moving around, and I couldn't quite guess where this film was going to go. It would always in my mind, I think, okay, this is where this is going to go. And 5 minutes later, I was like, whoops, I'm wrong. And that happened a few times. And this movie's a little harsh. It's like it was made in Australia or Germany. If you watch horror films from there, they are not pulling punches. And this film did not pull punches. Number 72, the final film we're going to review today. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Hilarious film. Enjoyed everything about it, mostly. The two sisters. The blue and the green sisters fighting each other all the time before they eventually make it up. That part, yeah. But everything else was really good. Batista is always enjoyable. And little Groot, or whatever the hell that little thing's name is. And the raccoon. They're enjoyable. But yeah, I can't find anything wrong with it. Kurt Russell was amazing. How the hell can they make Kurt Russell look so young? How did they do that? Special effects has come so far. It's amazing. But that's all we got for this episode, I guess. I still haven't watched Fried Green Tomatoes. I should probably watch it immediately, but I probably won't. Then we got Battle of the Sexes is coming up on the next one. Billie Jean King, and yeah. Then I got a lot of Pixar DreamWorks movies I need to watch. And then I'm also going to be watching The Founder. The story of how McDonald's got started, starring Michael Keaton. So I'm looking forward to that. And, yeah, that's about it. I'll talk to y'all later.